Good day all, and welcome to a really wet and dreary day. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get done today, but one thing I do want to get the rocker tops off and the plate on the other side, but what I really want to do is check how it starts when cold, so it's not been started for a good 24 hours. We'll see how it responds. Let it have a bit of a stretch its legs after the ride yesterday. Alright. Choke would be handy. Wants to start. You've just got to get the action right to get it to go so. Combustible. I'm just going around those carb boots from a suggestion saying, have you checked them? And I realise I haven't. There is a little leak on the right. It does pick up. Listen to the tick over picks up a bit. 3 bikes on it. Can't hear any of them with that thing going. The little SV sounds quite sedate compared to its others. Try not to lean on exhaust pipes. Still love the sound of this. Spot in there, diversion. Saying that, it's not moved for a good few weeks now. Right, I think I might drop the SV out just to give me some workspace because I don't want to work in the rain. Let's just check on the exhaust. Yeah, warm but not great. So there's something desperately wrong on that side, and I'm pretty sure it's not the car. Let's make some space. Right, okay, so that's the side off. I was halfway through it and I realised that actually there's a hole in it. I could have just taken the side off, but actually I'm glad I did because there's some cleaning up and some oiling and some greasing that needs to be done while I'm here. So if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it as close to properly as I can. I've taken the 4 rocker tops off, so that's 1, 2, ditto on the other side. Slightly strangely, the nut is larger on the front left than anywhere else. All the top covers are up there. I'll give those a clean off while they're off. Now what am I looking for? Now I think, oh, it's really difficult to see. So you can see at the bottom there I have what I think is my marker. Let me find a pointer. Now I think that is the marker. Now it's difficult to get the light right on this because there's some corrosion on the marker. So you can see in the center there the metal plate with the little groove, like looks like a U on it, and a T with a mark. Now I think that is, the T is the top dead center and the mark next to it is for timing, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to line it up and then I'm going to go inside in the warm, have a cup of tea, take a break, play with the kids, grab a book called Haynes Manual and just work out if that's what I'm after. I'm pretty sure it is. So it is a case of, excuse the slightly dodgy light now, the torch has gone out of the way. Oh, just nipping that round till I've got the mark on the T. And I think it will be on the line rather than on the letter T. So I think that is top dead center, I think, but I'm going to check the book before I do anything else. Now obviously it's 2 cylinders, so that is top dead center for one of the cylinders, and a complete 360 will take it round to the next one, so I'm going to have to find out which one it is. I think that's the left one because I'm getting a bit of tappity tap tap on them. Yeah, and I'm getting no movement on the right. So we'll go inside, just check that. It's not as clear or as obvious as I would like. Obviously when you watch various YouTube videos and everything, they seem to be highlighted. Also slightly concerned that you can move that bar. Well, I can't, it's bolted down, but you know what I'm saying, it is movable, and so I'm relying on somebody else of getting that in the right place before, which not a huge fan of, and obviously it's the stator kicking around behind there. So yeah, let's go check in the book, go find my feeler gauges that I found last night, put down in the front room, so they've probably been moved and played with several times now by small miscreants, and see what the score is. Cool. Right, so amongst some household chores I did manage to get to look that up, and yeah, that looks, that is top dead centre. And I know it's on the right side because there is a bit of movement in the rocker on the exhaust side, this side, and the inlet side, t'other side. Right, so look at the slightly hokey setup. Put a bit of light on to make it a little bit easier to film rather than to see. I was quite happy doing it without. If I was doing it on my own, I'd happily argue I've done some of my best work fumbling around in the dark, not really knowing what I'm doing. I do have 3 children. According to the book, we're looking at an exhaust of 10mm. I'll say 10mm, 0.10mm I should say, so 0.10 millimeters. Got my feeler gauges out. I've obviously used this one before because it's a bit scratched, but how well you can see the markings on it. Oh, there we go, a little bit. So 0.004, which is an imperial, 0.0102, which is it in digital, in metric. So what I'm doing is just sliding under, so under the whole piece there, and that is a little bit loose. Now just for, it's like my light's turning off. Ooh, darkness, lightness, darkness. Right, see if I can get that on charge while I'm, nope, seems to have fixed itself. I think the battery is going to run out though, so I'll have to sort the charger out for that. So just for curiosity's sake, let's go one up, 0.12, still there. One 5. Come on, you. 1.5. So no, it's just smaller than 1.5, so it's a little bit on the high side. So let me make sure I've got the right one out that I'm comparing against, because I don't want to get myself confused, because frankly that is all too easy. That is a 12mm bolt at the top, so I'm just going to nip that out. There we go. I don't know how easy. Yeah, they normally move quite easy at the top there. Stick in my correct size one, give it a bit of a hand nip, so I want it tight on so I can move it. That is pretty much bang on, so I want to be able to still move it out. Just nip it up a little bit. It's a little bit loosened off. Might be better off with a pair of needle nose to do this rather than a pair of pliers. And as ever, I can never quite reach what I'm after, so go for a bit of adjustable action. So just want to nip that down a little bit. That's a bit too much. A little bit out. That's about got it. And it's just rocking, it's just moving backwards and forwards to try and get that tight enough that it'll hold, and slightly grip, but not tight enough that you can't get it out without ripping it or bending it. So that is now too tight because I can't move the feeler gauge out. That's probably not far off. There you go, so I've got good friction on that feeler gauge now. It'll go in with a bit of mild encouragement and it'll pull on the way out, it'll grip out. So I'm just going to nip that up a little bit more, and that will invariably move the feeler a bit. It's a little bit just keep going back and checking your work really. So now as I've tightened that up, it's just nipped it that tiny bit less. It's 0.102 millimeters, so it's a little bit too big for the gap. Yeah, and I can just feel it through, so I'm happy with that. That's a tiny bit too thick, and I can get it through. Yeah, so it's coming through and it's just leaving a mark, so that is bangers. Right, do the same with the next one. Right, so a bit of a shifty round with the light source and everything else. I'm now on 0.05. Again, not sure if you're going to be able to see the... Oh, there you go, that's actually better. If it wasn't wagging. And you can tell how thin it is because I'm struggling to keep it flat for you to see it. So there you go, 0.051. We'll just chuck that under the inlet. See how that... And again, that's really loose. Let's just, again... This doesn't particularly help me, but let's just check to see probably what it is. So that is just under 105, 127. Yeah, 127 makes it under there quite easily. So that is a way off as far as the inlet valve's concerned. So where's my 005 that I was at a second ago? 006. Right, that's the 5. I found it again, and it does feel like tissue paper, and you've got to be a little bit careful. I'm trying not to just jam these shut, because if you flex and bend them, they're naff all use the time when you need them next. And the law of sod dictates that the one that you need will be the one that you've bent. So yeah, that's way off, which is slightly comforting actually. So same process. Cool. That took a little bit. Loosen off the guide one. Get it so it all bites to a degree. Ease it off ever so slightly. Let your feeler gauge fall dramatically to the ground. Give it a brief nip, go back, check. A bit too much. I think it's just an element of losing equipment. There we go. An element of just keep testing till you get it right. He says confidently, I've done this once before on a scooter, so, which weirdly enough was considerably easier because you only had to do this once. So that's still a little bit loose for my liking, but as I tighten this up it might catch and tighten off. Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. Still a bit loose for me. I would prefer to, same with every job I do, I would prefer to only do it once. I prefer to get it right. And just over the gentle breeze there you can hear a little bit of friction, or you can't. That's a bit better. You want them a little bit tighter. Now this is probably easier to do when not filming. The sacrifices I make for you guys and girls. There we go, that's starting to just catch a little bit and bite. Yeah, there we go. So you can hear the friction. Right, it's my perfectionism coming in. I'm going to try and get that a tiny smidge, a smidgenette tighter. There we go. Now that is If I can keep that pressure on while I tighten it up, that is bangers. And as we all know, bangers is what we all want. Bang on. Right, so it's tricky to get under there, but you can, and it's not just sliding out and it is hitting friction, so I am content. Nip it up, check it, nip it up, check it. Yeah, there's a good drag on that now. So you want to be able to get it in. And get it out in one piece, but it should take a bit of encouragement. I think that's about as close as I'm going to get. Right, so what I'm now going to do is rotate or turn the engine over a full 360, which will put the compression stroke on the right hand side and do the same. I'm not going to film doing the other side, it's exactly the same. Okay, so that's the other side done as well. Rocker tops back on, carb back on, bike back together. So what am I expecting? I really don't know. I don't think the valves were that far out to justify or to explain why it was not playing on the one side, but you know, we never know. But at least I now know that they are correct. Let's give it a go. Now, I'm not expecting a first time kick. If for no other reason, the carbs have been off again, so they're drained, so I've put it on prime, see if I can get some out of it. I'll give it a bit of choke as well, just for shits and giggles. We'll see. I stand corrected, that was the easiest start. Sounds good. Probably can't even hear me despite the fact my mouth is right next to the back of the phone and I'm shouting. sponsorship. Take a look at the pipes. I'm going to drop you a bit. Kind of tricky to do around here. So I'm on 2 cylinders. It's just that pop. Even that's evening out with a bit of wearing in. Sounding better, and it's warm on both sides. I am chuffed. I think, for shits and giggles, I read, where did I read it? I read about this carb, this BS34 or BS34CV Makuni, that they run lean, and actually the air fuel screw mixture is really quite a long way in. It's kind of a you know, only about a 1/2 to 1. I'll have to check on my phone. I'm going to try that. I'm just going to whip the tank off because it takes seconds. I'll make a note of the current settings and just bang them in a lot. Yeah, their fuel side. Oh, I don't know. Let me have a look. Let me have a go. See what happens. All right, let's give that a go. I've had the tank off. I'll put the air fuel screws back down to 2. And bearing in mind, I just checked, found the old website, and it says they're factoried at 1 to 1.5. They run a little bit lean, so people tend to cramp them up a little bit. So let's see what, if any, change that makes. There we go. Carb screen off again. It's just got the engine turned off, you fucking moron. And that helps if you turn it on and not leave it off at the top. of extra restriction on them pods with the wristbands just thrown on. Yeah, well happy. Sorted it. It's a little bit poppy, but it's nowhere near where it was. So it's still a tiny bit poppy, but frankly I think that's going to run out, or run itself out. Chuffed. So valve clearances helped a lot, I think. Final adjustment on those air fuels I think has made it considerably better behaved as well. Right, happy, more than happy, and it just sounds amazing. It rides great. So what next? I don't know. Let's do a compression test. 30 seconds later, in fact, let's not. For one, it's hot, I'm going to burn myself. For two, I've pretty much run out of playtime, I think, and this weather's not getting any nicer. So, I think compression test tomorrow, to see how much that the valve changes difference has made, if any. I don't even anticipate that it's going to bring up that left-hand one any higher, but it didn't film last time I did it, so I'll do it properly this time and make sure I'm filming. But yeah, valve clearance is done, and the bike is considerably happier. Quick shout out to Brodie. I'll put his link at the bottom again. I followed his instructions throughout that, with a little bit of help from the book. Simple as you like, really as simple as you like. A little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and it's fine. Right, cool. Thanks very much all. That's the end of this vid. I will catch you on the next one. Cheers. Ta-da.